auctioneer sold off the auctioneer. So.
Being involved this year?
I don't know, but I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, so that shows our income. Then on the back side, we'll show our expenses. There's our entertainment expenses. And then it will show you, we have quite a bit of premium money. So we'll show you the money that came out of the Women's Building, the FFA and the 4-H. Okay, and then of course we have, you know, things that go with the fair. We got to hire someone to clean the bathrooms. We got to hire someone to put up porta potties. We got to hire someone to take care of garbage. And then on the following pages are advertising, and then other expenses. So this last year we lost $27,000 cash flow. That isn't always the case. Some years it's closer than that. Depends a lot about the rain, depends a lot about people coming, and what a lot of people have doing, and a lot of what we have for attractions. But that's the case of that.
Doesn't it rain every year?
Yeah, that's why it's not going to rain.
That's why I put the asphalt down. It ain't going to rain this year.
So anyway, okay. Any questions about the fair? Just so you have an understanding of, there's more expenses to the fair than a lot of people realize.
Nice report.
Okay, so the next page is going to go, if I'm a county commissioner, you give me $67,000, what are you doing with it? So here I'm going to show you, I'll break that down a little bit. So tax income then from the county was $67,000, so $27,000 that we lost on our cash flow would offset those bills. And then the other thing I want to talk about is this Dakota fence update. That's when we had to, he knows this too, but we had to put in a gate so that EMS could get in. It could get into the grandstand.
There's a gate to the south of the festival hall, and what it allows is the EMS to stage their ambulance outside of the track, because they used to always stage the ambulance inside the track, and when it rains they can't get in there. So the gate was put up so they could stage basically by the festival hall. The gate was open where they could bring their gurney if need be, and in and out. And it made things a lot easier, I think, for the EMS. They're not here to speak to it, but it's not just Pheasant, it's Bowden and Harvey. They all take their turns at the events. So that is what that is.
And that was for the gate and the other stuff that goes with that. Okay, so just so you're aware of that. And then there's other miscellaneous expenses. Then I got a balance of $31,000. And so, again, these are all items of discussion, but we have to do something with the Women's Building floor. It's uneven and it's cracking, and so it's a high need that we need to take care of at one point. And then we're continuously updating electrical outlets for vendors. They need more power than we're allowed to give them. So we're continuously every year spending some of this money updating electrical power for vendors and camping. And then we need to do something to a better speaker system for our fair.
Okay. The electrician was out there yesterday.
Cool. Yeah. Cool. So then, I'm going to let Larry talk, because I talked enough.
So gazebo, I guess Wade's got on here, the money that's been given or raised is $25,000. It's donated money. Also shows the sheriff building restoration fund meeting. There was money given for that at the time it was done. We think that it's pretty much fully completed, so at some point we probably want to move that money into the gazebo fund or whatever else needs. There's still a lot of other needs out there. But the gazebo, you guys can get out there and see the foundation for it. Well, building moved off, cement poured, building back on. It's been wired, electrical brought in, and we'll continue to work on that. And he's done a lot to just square that thing up and level things out. We'll continue until we have new windows, siding, doors, and a roof on it. And we may end up going back and redoing the deck as well. The more he looks at it, and the deck is not that old, but the more he looks at it, he said it may be a thing where it's just better to take it off and start over because of the railing involved and the way we would do things a little bit different moving forward. So we don't know all the costs that come in on that, but it's a work in progress, and it may or may not have it wrapped up by fair time. If not, we'll work on it after the fair. So grandstand fundraiser, we've done a little bit. We don't have a plan in place for a grandstand repair or replacement. We're just looking at options. There's been some people in here, engineers recently that looked at it, and I guess the guy that was here, I wasn't out there, but he said he feels that the building is stable if we were to take out the seating, and, you know, obviously we'd take out the cement because that's all bad, and redo the bottom end of it and then build back in. I mean, that's, I don't know if that's the cheapest option. Sometimes we are gonna get some other quotes on just taking it out of there and starting over, because we wanna look at the differences, you know, and of course, we really feel a need for having use underneath, and some of these guys will come in and build a grandstand and that's all they do. They don't finish or give you a 3 seasons, you know, thing underneath. So we're looking at that. We don't have anything in writing yet, so.
Imagine that's a gigantic undertaking, huh?
Yeah, and I mean, you guys could sit here and guess what that number is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not small, and
Right.
so, I guess I've said it before and I'll say it again, that whatever we come to and, you know, get some solid numbers on a project, we're gonna bring it back to you guys, because you own the place. You know, we're just caretakers, and we're willing to do fundraising and stuff like that, but when it comes time, that's a big project, probably one of the biggest projects that'll ever happen on the fairgrounds, and so we want you involved.
Whether individual seats are on the question probably, huh?
You know, we could do that.
I'm sure there will be 5 of them.
Yeah. 6 for a commission. And fair board.
Well, I have a suggestion how to raise some money. You know, during the Bolorama.
How many haircuts you want?
No, I'm going a different direction here. There's a lot of people at the Bolorama, and everybody knows Boom. And I think we I've got the machine. You can imagine the people that would bid on that. It would be unbelievable.
I ain't gonna be there.
You could beat my record by probably 10.
Yeah, I think you got something there, Boo.
Well, then I better let it grow from here on out.
Exactly.
Or you could,
You have a homework assignment.
or you and the bull could,
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
The haircut or the bull, what are you gonna do?
30 years ago maybe, not no more.
Anyway, back to you, Larry.
That's all I have, and I don't know if you guys kind of wanted an idea of what we have in place for entertainment. Some of this stuff is still in the works. It's not 100%. Obviously, Thursday night we'll be doing Bolorama. Friday night is the motocross freestyle, which we had last year, and we decided to bring it back one more time. The cost goes up, like everything else does. I believe on Saturday, we're having some type of women's rodeo, and Luke Hollenbeck is working on that. And autocross in the afternoon. And then Sunday, chariot races, and then Rick Adams, who used to be with, what was the band? They played all over North Dakota, but he's really good. He played at the Eagles for a fundraiser. So he's probably just, you know, the chariots need a break. He's probably there to play between the break, whatever. So those are the main things that we have going on. There's a lot of little stuff to fill in, obviously.
Just one other thing that I thought of now is that, you know, we always go from year to year when to set our date, and it's always a problem. We have a 2-year contract with the carnival, correct?
Yes.
So the date will be the same the next year. So that is in place. It's a 2-year contract with the carnival, the same date.
Well, the same date, necessarily the same weekend.
Same weekend, yeah, that's what I meant. Same weekend.
So what night do we get to serve supper?
That's usually Thursday.
That's the first day, Thursday.
Yeah, but we'd like to do that again if we're willing to do
Oh,
that.
yeah, I think we all enjoyed doing it.
And that was in the festival hall?
Yep.
Yeah.
I have 3 questions, if I might. I'm curious, and maybe I'm just not understanding correctly, but it shows, on one of your pages, it shows $67,053.38.
You would find that one too.
It's probably the 3rd page from the back, which shows the income from the county. And I'm just curious why that's not 110,000. is something written out of here? Because in my budget, or your budget, I guess, it shows a request for $110,000.
Yeah, but I think our payment was 67. I think our check was 67,000 that we got. I am pretty positive, I looked it up the other day.
Okay.
And you can double check me on that, and I know you will, but I am pretty positive that's what I got.
Because I feel like when I read this, I don't know, maybe I'm not understanding something here. So
I'm pretty positive it was 67, so please check.
all right, and then there are two other things. One of them is an agenda item that I want to deal with while you guys are here. And I don't want to get in front of Dennis on this, but I believe she's a Fair Board member that reached out about an activity called the Battle of the Breweries. Do you know about this, or what do you know about this? And
Yeah, that'll be on Friday night, and the question was, you know, can they come in and sell alcohol? No, we knew better than that, she didn't, so we guided her through that. It would fall under the Snowmobile Club. So we wondered where can we set that up, and we talked now about the free stage tent, and that myself or another Fair Board member would be on, you know, on the premises there. People would pay $10 to sample their product, and we want to come up with, by the end of the night, have 2 different sessions, and by the end of the night, just to come up with a winning sample, whatever that is. And if they wanted to promote themselves, then they would donate any of their product to the Snowmobile Club, and we could sell it. So that's where we're at with that.
okay.
People would have to have a wristband, you know, they would be carded, they would have to have a
So-
wristband, and it's a time slot.
So specifically, where would they be set up? Would they be set up inside in the
In the tent,
grandstand
you
area?
know, in the tent, the free stage tent, which is right north of the,
Gazebo.
or, yeah, well,
Kind of where that curve is, just to the south and to the west of the festival hall.
Okay, because therein lies, I guess, I'm glad they're with the Snowmobile Club because they've already got a license. Okay. However, if it's outside of either the grandstand area or the festival hall area, in the case of inclement weather, then they would be outside of that circumstance. So that might be the only issue we have to work through, because we would have a license that suggests
Yeah.
the location.
I didn't realize where it was gonna be at.
I was thinking that our new licensing read the fairgrounds, so that we had the ability to be
I
anywhere.
will go back and look at this. Obviously, glad we got the wristband piece worked out here, but the possibility of, I think you know where I'm going with this. So I will go back and I'll look at their license. It's on my desktop, so I cannot open it here. I could normally open anything else.
But if it
right
says
now.
fairgrounds, I think.
Yep, then
That'd be good.
it would be fine, but I'm not exactly sure how that reads. I know for sure in the past, we had a lot of opposition within the county about even going into the festival hall with that, but in the case of inclement weather, you've got to be able to go someplace. And so let me look at that. We won't do anything with that today. We'll address that.
The other technicality with it, excuse me, are you done with that?
Yeah, with that part, yeah.
The $10 to sample it, who collects that?
We'll be collecting that.
Okay, it's not this outfit that they're
No.
paying them, because that could be a technicality.
I don't know, and I'm not involved in setting that up, but are they getting paid anything to come in?
I haven't been involved in that.
I wonder if they didn't ask for payment for mileage or something.
Well, you know, what I would suggest is that they run that through the Snowmobile Club. Then the public's not paying them because they wouldn't have a license for
And
that.
I do believe, if I understood her correctly, I spoke to, can't think of her name off the top of my head.
Jolene?
Yeah,
Jolene.
no, the gal who
Oh,
was the
It's on our
sheriff.
list here, it must be,
But doesn't matter. Last name starts with a P. I think.
Carmen.
yeah, Harm.
She called me back, and I think the attraction to these breweries would be that they could buy, not have at this time, they could order
Right.
whatever it was they wanted. So
In the
they
future.
stand to make some money here,
That's where they would be coming from.
Right.
so.
Sort of just a recognition for them and what we thought of, some small event for the fair that people would be interested in.
Sure.
So,
Should get Brian Brindles in
Well, it's good to try new things, you guys.
Sure, that's a good little promo for them.
there. Okay, I wanted to ask regarding that, and then did have one final question, and it also relates to an item on here. The weekend before you guys, we have an all-school reunion here. And obviously, there's gotta be certain stipulations, but they want to use fairground campsites, which I think would be a nice goodwill gesture, et cetera. That ends on Sunday. I don't know exactly when various different folks start showing up here, but I know there's work that has to take place out there. How do you guys feel about that?
We've discussed this, haven't we?
we thought that definitely open it up to camping for that event. And our only concerns were through Brent, is you've got to take care of the grounds. So do they move their camper after Sunday? Or does he give them all a little short weed whacker, they got to go underneath and take care of those
I'm
spots?
thinking there has to be a deadline on when you gotta be gone.
Yeah, I agree
We
with
thought
that.
that
That's
would
what
be
should
best
be
too.
done.
And we had also heard that, that there was a possibility of the rides getting here already on Sunday before the fair. Is there any truth to
I'm
that?
not sure about that. I haven't been in that conversation.
It'll take Huey or whoever's mowing out there, one afternoon to get the area mowed up again good for the fair. Obviously, they'll be mowed before the all-school reunion, but depending on the moisture, if it's a wetter year, we gotta mow again before the fair, because otherwise it's gonna be quite long by Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Already promised no precip.
Yep, no rain, but just enough to make the grass grow.
But those mowed up real close to the time of that
Yep.
weekend, they may not need it right away.
Yeah. And, if need be, we'll send a guy out to help to get, there's only a certain area where the ride's set up. So obviously, if the rides are coming in on Sunday, well, that's the first place we're gonna mow to get prepped for the fair.
Yeah, if they're coming Sunday, but, people are probably gonna be in activity Sunday night, yet I'd give them till Monday morning. probably
Yeah.
to leave.
And who manages that?
Usually Leanne Schaefer handles.
I don't mean for the fair, but for the reunion,
Well,
now
I
they
don't know.
wanna,
We don't,
You got-
maybe Jolene knows.
50 campers that wanna come in, and there's 20 spots. Who says,
First come, first serve.
I don't know.
Well, first,
Who takes care of that?
Who takes care of that? That's
well,
kind of,
during the fair, it's Leanne.
well, this
But
is the week
This is
before
the
though.
reunion the
We-
week
well,
before the
reunion.
fair. Who's scheduling all that?
We don't know.
Someone
Well, somebody
needs,
better find out.
Well,
someone needs.
It's gotta be with probably with
Get
the
on the
committee
stick
for the
with that,
all-school
because-
reunion.
And then are they charging?
That's what I was gonna ask, are you guys charging for spots?
We should.
We talked
You
about that.
should.
I think we were just trying to be, kind of feel bad that it wasn't the same weekend, because
Right.
it's the way it all worked out
I know.
with our life is dependent on that darn carnival. So
I know.
we're sorry that it didn't happen that weekend. So we were just trying to be hospitable and trying to make it work as best as they could.
Sure. And it's not your responsibility to manage that, because it's the week before. But someone has
Well,
to,
if
and
they-
it has to be the reunion board.
But if they're
then.
camping on the campground, it's probably their responsibility to collect for it.
The purpose of going there is to have access to things like electricity.
Right.
And so on,
Water.
so there's obviously a cost associated.
Right,
with
someone's
this.
gonna charge them
There-
for it.
There's meters that are put on for the fair for water usage back there, so those meters will be on for the all-school reunion also.
Right.
So that's up to you guys.
But there's not gonna be, there's not gonna be no sewer.
No, there never has been.
No.
Jolene and
Would
Leanne.
would it be fair to say, or would it, and again, this isn't my place to do this, but to turn this over to them and maybe they can even make a few bucks out
Oh,
of it.
yeah.
That's exactly what I mean here. It's-
Maybe they don't wanna do it.
And then that way, you can say that
It's a fundraiser.
you gotta be out of here by such and such a time because you gotta prep for your event.
Well, I think the first thing you should do is contact whoever's in charge of that reunion
Right,
committee,
right.
because they're going to be the ones that are gonna get the interest in.
Okay, your contact, probably, Mngt is the one that presented this to me to start with, asked about. So I would contact her, she probably knows who's in
And we
charge.
can ask Jolene, because I'm sure she's the one that probably has talked to them, so.
But I
And we
think-
certainly encourage you to charge for it.
I think this would be
because
good
There's costs
fundraising for
involved.
you guys.
People are willing to pay for camping there.
I am their treasurer, but I'm probably the last person that knows. Lenny Strand, Michelle Weigelt. Can't remember who the third one is. Doesn't
Well,
matter.
Annie, right?
But, oh, well, she's.
She's with the reunion.
I think the two main ones, Dan, you just hit.
Yeah, I think,
Renee Strand is one that reached
yeah, I think
out to
Strand wants to
Jolene.
talk to Jolene. But we'll check into it.
Yeah.
Once you get a number of what they're requesting, then you can figure out what's going on. There's gonna be people coming to the reunion and they're gonna wanna know where they can park.
No question. I can't imagine they wouldn't take every space that's available. So,
Well, I think-
there's no place else to stay.
You know, Leanne has the map for every spot, and I would think if she wants to be a part of it, be helpful, that would work.
That would be the easiest. Yeah.
I have one other question on that, Dan. They requested the Snowmobile Club to possibly run the beer gardens 1 or 2 nights out there because of their, whatever they have going on. Is there any issue with that?
They have in the past, I know, but I don't know
As long as they got the license going up.
who otherwise does it. If it's not them, how does
Well, the only thing that I would say is, as far as the festival hall goes, I know our license states only the 4 days of the fair.
Right, they
We
couldn't
couldn't
do
do
it at the
anything there.
reunion.
But
That-
if it's
that's
the beer
the law.
gardens,
The beer garden is your guys' license, right?
Well, you could come back and request another one. I mean, it isn't like it's seasonal. You
oh,
could-
I just assumed, well, we were very appreciative to
And it
just
doesn't-
get that opportunity
When
last
you
year.
start talking about 4 days, it doesn't cost much for that license. You'll make that in 15 minutes.
Well, we also don't want to step on the toes of the golf course because,
Well, I don't think there's any events scheduled in the hall. The golf course only has the liquor license for the festival hall, correct?
right,
I guess I haven't seen the whole breakdown of what's going on at the all-school reunion, but I don't think there's any events in the hall that is gonna step on
but
anybody's
they'll do, I
toes.
think, fireworks out in front of the grandstands is one thing on one of the nights. That's what I
Yeah.
heard,
Who's doing that?
the all-school reunion.
Oh, yeah, but the golf course has got their building open.
Yeah, I mean, I can't, I'm not I'm not on the board of the golf course, but honestly, I don't think the golf course really for a few people that are gonna walk out of the grandstands over to the festival hall for a beer, I think they would just assume that the Trailblazers do it underneath the grandstands.
Right,
I
I just
don't
didn't know
think-
if the,
I don't think there'd be an issue with it, but you do need to revise the liquor license to include that weekend also.
And
if
They're all
if
technical.
they want to use the festival hall.
Right, yes. If they want.
Yeah, the Flatlands license is for the 4 days of the fair.
It'd be no time like the present to request one.
Well, I better get all of the details straight before we do that,
Okay.
so. we'll
But-
be in touch.
Nobody
Well,
else
you'd
got
have
it.
to reach out to the golf course. Because you'd have to revise it, because they couldn't use it that weekend.
They just use the festival hall.
No, but if they're requesting the use of a festival hall, you can't have
If it
two
is a
people.
rain event and you want to use the festival hall.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what event out there is gonna get rained out? I mean,
But
if
the
it's,
beer
if it's
garden is-
sprinkling, they can
Right,
sit, they
beer
can sit in the
garden,
beer
I'm
garden.
covered.
You know, there's not any big event that's gonna get rained out besides the fireworks show.
Well, I was thinking that our beer license for the fairgrounds is year-round, but the
Yes.
festival hall is 4 days of fair.
That's
I
right,
thought so,
that's
too.
exactly right.
I
So,
think it is.
Yep,
it shouldn't be an issue if we're in the beer gardens for the
no.
Fireworks.
reunion.
Right.
Whatever, a day or two.
So one little comment too about, capital improvements. It's a pretty good chance that there's gonna be money appropriated for capital improvements for fairgrounds. That passed one chamber, just gotta pass the other one, so that's a perfect project for that, is
That'd
that
be a nice
grandstand.
boost for you guys.
Yeah. But that's a deal you just gotta wait and see.
I do have one question. Okay, so during the fair, as you guys stated, you got Bolorama on Thursday and chariot races on Sunday. Have you guys put much thought into, and maybe it's not even feasible, but when you are using the grounds, for instance, for the chariot races are at the end of the fair. When you have autocross and other events that tear up the inside of the track, where you could kind of bring your Bolorama and your chariot races closer together, so you can kind of, just to save on some dirt work and some prep for the events, where you're going to have the Bolorama set up on Thursday night, and it's not that big a deal to prep the track for a Friday chariot races, and then come Saturday, Sunday is more of your auto, and where you're using the infield, and you see what I mean? You're staggering back and forth, where the track is going to be destroyed, or not destroyed, but obviously there's going to be a lot of work that needs to be done to re-prep the track for the chariot races on Sunday, where if the chariot races were Friday, and then your auto events were on the weekend, to me, it makes more sense, because you're not having to move dirt and do so much repair between events.
Well, for us, Brent, we look at it a little bit differently. We look at events that are going to draw a crowd in which day. And
I understand. It was just a
You know,
suggestion.
yeah.
I'm not complaining.
And like for the chariots, they really are just on the track, with the exception of that small area right inside.
Yeah,
that they
just,
like
you know,
to
going
start
around,
with.
so you got,
And then the autocross generally doesn't run out.
no,
on
it's in the
track.
infield.
Yeah, so to me, it doesn't really hurt one way or the other. Sometimes there is a little bit of dirt work to do, for sure.
Well, where we've run into issues is, for instance, and you don't have it this year, but a truck and tractor pull, for instance. You're tearing up 400 feet in front of the grandstands that the chariots are going to run on 2 days later. This isn't the case, and I was just asking. I wasn't complaining. I was just trying to, save as much work and volunteer things as possible.
Those are things that,
You promised no rain, so it's not really.
Right. I mean, but, I'm just, and I understand there's only certain nights you can get, obviously they don't want to come on Friday night or Sunday to do certain things. I just was wondering if when you guys are planning this, in the planning stages.
It's never easy. I would say I'm the one of the people that's always thinking about how this all plays out.
How can we get from the next step to the next step to the next step?
Some people just say, hey, let's do this and this. No, that doesn't work. You can't do two different things back to back because of stuff that has to happen. So we're always looking at it, but I appreciate.
Yeah, it wasn't a complaint. It was just that, I don't want you to think that I'm complaining.
Good point. Good point on both sides.
And the one thing that I didn't mention, I know this is not, one of your favorite things to hear, but we would like to see if you guys could put up a temporary fence on the north end.
For the
Just
chariots
because of
only?
the chariots. But if you do, you might want to do that before the fair ever happens. Obviously, then it's there for the 4 days. And, we talked about just orange snow fence or something like that. It comes back down or whatever, but.
Just a safety thing?
Yeah, I mean, driving T-posts in and putting snow fence up is minor. It'll take an hour. It's just that it looks so crappy.
Just a safety thing is what
Yeah.
we're concerned about?
We did talk about that too. Like, I don't know where David was, is it Mngt Supply, if they have a number of curl panels like that, but we just feel that there should be something on that end, and I know we're wide open to the east, has been for years.
I'm thinking that there's enough ranchers around that the 24-foot freestanders, I don't know, what's the distance there?
All 400 feet.
Yeah, about
400
400
Need
feet.
20 panels.
I'm sure you could get a few of them from here and a few from there. That don't take long to set a pen up. I can set a pen up, I can set that pen up in a half an hour.
Well, it's transporting it to and from.
Right, I know
That's
that.
exactly the problem, because, at that time of year, any of us being volunteers, it's hard to get everything done and in place. And so if somebody brings us something, it's like, thank you, but
Right.
to go and get them
Yeah,
would be a
but
different
I'm just
story.
saying that's a possibility.
Yeah, and that would be sufficient.
Because all you need is basically a forklift, or you know, whatever, something
Bobcat
forks.
Yeah.
out there all the time.
There's skid
That
steer out
don't take
there.
nothing to say.
Yeah.
Freestanding.
If you could find 20 panels